why did the church change the meaning of fornication from a critique of a system of sexual exploitation to policing people's personal and consensual sexual choices? Like, how did Christianity go from critiquing sex trafficking and sexual exploitation to prohibiting premarital sex as a sign of somebody's holiness? Well, the answer is to be found in what happened when Christianity went from being a minor religion in the first century to being the imperial religion across Europe centuries later.
Okay, first of all, you don't actually talk like that. But even worse than that, your representation of history is way off. So his whole claim is that when the Bible condemns sexual impurity, it's not condemning things like premarital sex, it's condemning things like prostitution. And actually, premarital sex is okay, I guess, is his argument. Okay, so Christianity was legalized starting in the early 4th century. But we have quotes from the 2nd century and on, condemning sexual immorality. Now, I'm going to try to not get too graphic, but even as early as the 1st century, we have the letter of Barnabas condemning certain forms of acts that do not create new life. We have Clement of Alexandria in the late 2nd century saying things like, because of its divine institution for the propagation of man, the seed is not to be vainly wasted, in other words. And he also says to have coitus other than to procreate children is to do injury to nature. Hippolytus in the early 3rd century condemns things like abortion and having concubines. So we see clearly that the sexual morality that the Catholic Church puts forth today is perfectly in line with the 1st century Christians, long before, hundreds of years before, Christianity was legalized or considered a power within the Roman Empire. Hope this helps. God bless.